East Stroudsburg University wrestling with All-American Brendan McKeown, Warriors Redshirt Junior 174-pounder. Went 3-3 at the NCAAs, and he came back with a sixth-place finish. It was your second year in a row going to the NCAAs. Just compare and contrast your experience. Obviously, the All-America recognition is the biggest difference this year.
Of course. Last year, wasn't really too sure what to expect. I didn't really have high expectations. I was more happy to be there, and then when I left the tournament, I just had a really sour taste in my mouth and feel like I performed my best and knew I could have been on the podium. This year, I knew what to expect. I knew how to prepare, and I knew how to mentally prepare myself, and I knew how the tournaments run. Unlike regionals or anything, there you have like a 4, 5, 6 hour time break between that opening round and the quarterfinals. So in your hotel room, you're hanging out. Like you need to rest. What to how to supply your body with the proper nutrients, but not get too heavy because hopefully you'll make that second day. But I mean, just like last year, though, I'm stuck with that sour taste in my mouth because now I'm looking saying, I could have possibly done better than I did.
Right. Yeah, in a national tournament, you get 16 qualifiers at each weight. All but 3 guys are going to finish. With a loss, you ended up in the 5th, 6th place match at the end of the tournament. Just go through your first day because you open in the opening round with Kramer from Tiffin. You got a decision there, and then you go into the quarterfinal. Just go through those 2 matches to start.
Kramer, the kid's a stud, true sophomore, qualifier last year in my weight. I've been anticipating this match all year. I know he's a tough kid. Came out and I was feeling him out early on and shot a misdirection low single, and I put him to his back right away off of it, and I'm up 5-0, and I knew I had to keep scoring. Anybody in the NCAA tournament, if you let up 1 second, they could take you down 2, 3 times, turn you. So I knew I needed to keep scoring, and got 2 or 3 more takedowns in the match, and kind of put a statement on there that I wanted to be on the podium this year.
12-6 decision there. Then you get Blake Sorensen from Upper Iowa, another guy who's been a top-level wrestler for the last couple of years. I know, obviously, you're in that match. Your goal is to make the semis to lock up your All-America status. At that point, it didn't work out. Sorensen obviously ended up being a national runner-up, but just your thoughts on that bout.
Of course. That's one of those matches you look back on, and it's like one of those any given Sunday things. I could have beat him, 5 out of 10 times. He could have beat me 5 out of 10 times. If I didn't really know what to expect, couldn't really find any tape on him. He was just tricky with his hips. I was in deep on 4, 5, 6 different shots, and just couldn't finish. Just couldn't really get my offense going to 100% like it's been some of these other matches this year. So he was scoring a lot off of my own shots, which hasn't really happened to me all year. And after getting taken down 2, 3 times when nobody's done that to me all year, it's kind of, against a high-level wrestler, it's hard to come back.
That match was your first loss. You had won 17 in a row to that point. Did you take a moment just to put that in perspective to realize that it has been a long time since you had the feeling of defeat?
Of course. It was, like you said, 17 straight matches, and I mean, I didn't, up until then, I hadn't lost a match on the mat all year. My only match was by injury default, so it took a second, and I didn't really know what to think, and didn't really know how to handle myself, and it wasn't so much the loss that bothered me as much as just knowing I couldn't be a national champ, because all year that was the goal. Obviously, I told you. Obviously, I've been telling everyone, and it was kind of heartbreaking. And but also, the next round starts immediately following, and there's they're going right through, and there's 2 matches per weight, and there's competition on 4 mats. So I know right away I'm up in 30 minutes, so I don't really have time to have a pity party, unfortunately. And I spoke with my father, and I just kind of took like 5 minutes to myself and regrouped, and I mean, just got fired up, and I knew I didn't want to be in that round of 12 again. I knew I didn't want that feeling. So.
And exactly, you come back, and you got to be on the mat right away. You did get a regional guy in Zach Banzio from Seton Hill. Yeah. And you're able to major him 12-2, and earn your All-American status.
Of course. Benzio, that kid's a absolute stud. Senior, qualifier last year at 84. He was like 17-2 going into nationals. Only loss was by injury default, and only other loss was to Mike Williams, who was obviously a national champ last year. And was anticipating that match all year. There was a lot of hype in my own mind and from other people. I mean, he's a big, strong kid. Our styles like matched up well and everything. I knew it was going to be a war, but like I said, I regrouped, and I just kind of spoke with coach. I spoke with my teammates and everything, and I knew if that was the match my season was going to end, I was going to go out and wrestle the way that Brendan McKeown wrestles, not be hesitant, not hold anything back, and I was really fired up, and came out and scored right away and put him to his back, and I'm up 5-0, and just like my first match, that wasn't good enough. I didn't want to just ride him out, and I didn't want to just seal the deal and like squeak out a win. I wanted to kind of put a statement out there, and I knew I needed to keep wrestling, especially against a kid like that who's been pinning kids left and right all year. So keeping my offense going, I scored like 2 or 3 more takedowns, and then in the third period we're going back and forth, and obviously he's coming at me hard, and I squeaked out another takedown with like 48 seconds left, and then he called injury time, and I just remember looking at coach and taking a sip of water and looking at that clock saying, I'm going on my feet because it was my choice, and like he's not taking me down. Like I'm going to be an All-American. Nobody's stopping me, and it was a phenomenal feeling.
You're at that point in the tournament. You've obviously accomplished one of the things you wanted to do as you went down to Birmingham. Then you're going into the consolations the second day. You had watched Etta Biwa last year and Braden Turner wrestle through their consolation bracket. You able to take something out of that experience, seeing how they had to prepare, and obviously the timing's a little different from the format from the regional tournament and the nationals.
Of course. Obviously, taking third in the nation would have been way more significant than taking 6, but mentally at that point too, it was all right. I can't be a national champ anymore. I'm an All-American, so I'm just gonna just try and do my best and go from there. And unfortunately, some matches that I have squeaked out earlier in the year, such as Mike Williams, he ended up squeaking out this time. We got in the same position. We got in a close scramble, and 2 weeks ago I came out on top in the scramble. I won a region title. I stopped him from winning his 4th straight region title. This week he came on top, and he takes third in the nation. My opening round match, I knew that was important. I wanted to obviously be in the top 6 instead of the top 8, and I knew I needed to come out guns blazing, and I did. Took him down a few times, rode him for like 5 minutes total, and then my final match, things just didn't really go my way, and all these matches are matches which, like I said, one day I could win, and the next day I could lose, and unfortunately I just didn't come out on top.
You look at some of the top-level competition that you wrestled before you got to the NCAAs, and I think that really shows how difficult it is to consistently win matches at that level. You had mentioned that the win over Mike Williams in the regional, that really has to stand out to you as a high point of the season, obviously, of your career to this point at ESU.
Yeah, of course. The Mike Williams one was just kind of put everything in perspective. That kid's a 3-time All-American now, national champ. I'm not sure, he took 3rd this year. I'm not sure what he took before that, but I mean, an absolute menace on the mat. I mean, the kid went, I was his first Division II loss in maybe 70-something matches, which just to me kind of let me know I'm on that level where I want to be. And beating a kid like Travis Sheehy earlier in the year, who took 6th in the nation last year in my weight, that was significant, letting me know, all right, Brendan, like you're right where you need to be. I knew I should have placed last year, but then beating him like kind of puts the exclamation point on it. And we experienced some high-level competition, and we have a tough schedule. All these open tournaments around here. You get the Penn State Lehigh guys. Their backups could be Division II All-Americans. Right. It's just, I feel like I prepare myself the best. I just feel like I don't think it was my best weekend of wrestling, but I